If you pour into others, God will pour into you. It says in Isaiah 58, it talks about true and false fasting, because the people in Isaiah's day, they were fasting, but yet they were living in sin. They were living in corruption. And God says, is this not the fast that I've chosen? And he talks about what they did during their fast. And he says, cry aloud, do not hold back. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Declare to my people their transgression, and to the house of Jacob their sins. Yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, as if it were a nation that did righteousness and did not forsake the judgment of God. They ask of me righteous judgments. They delight to draw near to God. We have fasted and you see it not. Why have we humbled ourselves and you take no knowledge of it? And then God says, because in the day of fasting, you seek your own pleasure. You oppress all your workers. You only fast to quarrel and fight and hit with a wicked fist. Fasting like yours this day will not make your voice be heard on high. Is this not the fast that I chose? A day for a person to humble himself, to bow down his head like a reed, to spread sackcloth and ashes under him. Will you call this a fast and a day acceptable to the Lord? Is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the straps of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover him, and not to hide yourself from your own flesh? Then shall your light break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you, and the glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer, and you shall cry, and he will say, here I am. If you take away the yoke from your midst, the pointing of your finger and the speaking of wickedness, if you pour yourself out for the hungry and satisfy the desire of the afflicted, then shall your light rise in the darkness, and your gloom be as noonday, and the Lord will guide you continually. Satisfy your desire in scorched places, and make your bones strong, and you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water whose waters do not fail. And what God is saying in his word, he's saying that God loves when you love other people. You see, the Israelites, they were fasting, they were doing spiritual things, they were doing the discipline, but yet they were not treating their neighbor with love. And God said, it doesn't matter if you do these spiritual things, if it's not resulting in love for your neighbor, then it's not true worship. And you can substitute fasting for Bible reading, for prayer even. Man, if you're praying to God, but you're not loving the people right in front of you, if you're not helping people that are broken, do you really love the Lord? Because if you love the Lord, you'll love your neighbor. And God says, when you pour yourself out for the hungry, when you feed the poor and the homeless, and you cover the naked, and you pour yourself out for those who are suffering, God says, then I will do all these things for you. Your light will rise. You will be guided. Your bones will be made strong. The glory of the Lord will go upon you. You will call and I will answer. Your light will break forth. Your healing will rise up. There's promises of God that are unlocked and achieved when you actually start serving others. That's why serving others is so important. That's why Jesus said, the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. We are called as Christians to love our neighbor as ourselves. This is such an important command. God says it's even more important than your religious duties. It's more important than the things. You can't really separate loving God from loving your neighbor, but you can test if you truly love God by the way you love your neighbor. And God says, if you pour yourself out in serving others, I'm going to pour my spirit back into you. I'm going to replenish your strength. There's another proverb. It says in Proverbs, it says, the one who waters will himself be watered. And what that means is when you water other people, when you pour yourself out for other people, God will water you. God will pour his living water into you. And it says, the one who brings a blessing will be enriched, and the one who waters will himself be watered. I want to encourage you, pour yourself out to others. Man, if you're depressed, the solution is to serve. If you're hurting, the solution is to help others, because in helping others, we find our purpose. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Don't wait for, the stars to align before you go help someone. Go and help people around you. This is what God is calling us to do as Christians. This is how we shine the light.